Wow. Okay. Okay. So, thanks to John the Other for bringing this one up. My God, man, this feminist here is trying to use this fella, George Sodini, who shot up a LA fitness health club that was filled with women. I don't know if they are all women who he injured. I haven't really looked yet, but it was 3 women who died as a result of his shooting, and then he killed himself. Right? 9 other people were injured. So she is using this example and trying to tie him in to the MRAs, clearly as a way to try to, well, fear mongering and, oh, there's danger there in the MRA world. Watch out. Stay away from them. They're evil. Well, they're men. Of course, Jessica. They're men. We already know they're evil. You don't have to bring up examples of men killing women. It's just by virtue that they are men that we know this. Because you feminists tell us so. And you wouldn't lie, would you? Would you lie? Well, let's see. If you have any actual information as to his ties to the MRAs, I'd like to see that provided, right? As right, his motivation. What is his motivation? Now, he says in here, why? Why do this to young girls? He says it to himself. Says it to us, the readers, in his writings. But he doesn't really tell us. I mean, you can read this yourself. I'll leave a link to it into the description box. It's the first time I ever read it. It's the only thing I've read about him. So unless there's something else out there that I'm not aware of, but at least according to these writings, no. The MRA stuff does not even factor into this at all. My thoughts are, and I'm no psychologist, my thoughts are, this man was locked into a existential crisis. That's what he was in. Obviously, there could be some psychological factors, something wrong with the brain going on there that he should have gotten checked out. But by reading this, you can see clearly some philosophical themes playing out in regards to existentialism and such. Let's read a bit of it. We'll see. See what he says here. Look at what he says. This sets it really all up. This comes, I forget which page. The problem is I feel too good now to do this, but too bad to enjoy life. I know I will never enjoy life. This is an over 30-year trend. Some people are happy, some people are miserable. It is difficult to live almost continuously feeling an undercurrent of fear, worry, discontent, and helplessness. I can talk, I like this part, I can talk and joke around and sound happy, but under it all is something different that seems unchangeable and a permanent part of my being. I need to realize the details of what I never accomplished in life and to be convinced the future is merely a continuation of the past, which it always has been. I am making a list of items that will provide motivation to do the exit plan. It won't be published. I always had hope that maybe things will improve, especially if I make big attempts to change my life. I made many big changes in the past 2 years, but everything is still the same. Life is over. Even though I look good, dress well, well-groomed, nails, teeth, hair, etc., who knows? What is it like to be dead? I always think I am forgetting something. That's one reason I postponed. Similar to when you leave to get in your car to go to somewhere, you hesitate without a thought. What am I forgetting? In this case, I cannot make a return trip. I like to write and talk. Ironic because I haven't met anybody recently, past 30 years, who I want to be close friends with, or who I want to be close friends with me. I was always open to suggestions to what I am doing wrong. No brother or father, mine are useless, or close friend to nudge me and give it bluntly yet tactfully what the fuck I am doing wrong. A personal coach or someone who knows what he is doing would be perfect. Money is highly secondary for a solution. I read recently it is called self-efficacy. But who knows? Is that more psychobabble? So clearly he was looking into this somehow. But more to the point, the theme looking out through there, one of the biggest themes throughout his writings is hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. He looks into the abyss, folks, and it reflects back on him. And it freaks him the fuck out, and that probably happened a long time ago, and he is stuck in that ever since. And he verifies this by looking at different things, by looking at, he was a Christian, he sees the hypocrisy in different areas of home life of Christianity or the preachers. He sees this hypocrisy, and it's reflected maybe somewhat in his politics. We don't get much of his politics. He uses the K in America. Does that mean he's a communist? I don't think so. I think it's reflective of what he thinks maybe the hypocrisy in the United States, coming out of mostly the right wing and against whites, because we get racism here against whites. Every black man should get a young white girl. Kinda a reverse indentured servitude thing. Well, you know whites were indentured servants, don't you? By the way. About time tables turned on that shit. I think this is probably edited, right? They edited the swear words out. About time tables are turned on that shit. Ha ha ha. Now, does that sound like... That sounds like someone who's probably more leaning toward the left, right? With these two things. But that's about all we really get as far as politics goes. He's certainly not racist against blacks. Why would he be saying this about whites? Anyway, so let's read on. We can look into his misogyny or sexism and read the parts about women and things of that nature. He says, many of the young girls here look so beautiful as to not be human, very edible. A man needs a woman for confidence. He gets a boost on the job, career, with other men, and everywhere else when he knows inside he has someone to spend the night with and who is also a friend. Looking back, I owe nothing to desirable females who ask for anything, except for basic courtesy usually. This is another, when he's talking about another black man he hears on the radio. Speaking to his politics and racism. We can also look at how he speaks about other men, especially his brother, which appears to be like an alpha male, a typical, right, a stereotypical alpha male, let's say, right? Or even his father, he just says, was a useless sperm donor. Brother was actually counterproductive and would try to embarrass me or discourage my efforts when pursuing things, especially girls early on, teen years. Useless bully. He says more on his brother later. Here we are in some of the hypocrisy he sees in religion. Talks about his mom here. Michael Sodini, his brother, a boss, my brother. Always the big bully, twice the size of most others. When he bullied or harassed someone, it was the other person who deserved it. It was always about him, way to be self-absorbed too. Still is. Used to like to embarrass guys in front of their girlfriends. Lots of other shit. Kind of a guy you actually love to hate. The biggest, most self-centered jagoff I know. He took those bullying skills into the business world, speaking to his politics, and is going to do good financially. He is a big wheel only in his mind. Most people can see, blah blah blah. Speaks of his sister as a victim, but copes by exercising much control over her adult children. More to the church stuff. I have been in bar rooms and church groups. The worst people by far are the religious types, especially right-wing, stiff-faced, fundy, like Andy. Speaking more to the hypocrisy in religious homes. speaking more to women now. Young women were brutal when I was younger. Now they aren't as much, probably because they just see me as another old man. Now this is interesting. This is the first thing I saw in here that was that spoke to what really is where he transposes this hypocrisy he sees everywhere onto just the general archetype woman as the hypocrite. He speaks of two instances. One where he sees a woman coming out of his neighbor's house who will sleep with his woman, with his neighbor, who I don't know is not very good looking or something. But he says this: I was reading several posts on different forums, and it seems many teenage girls have sex frequently. One 16-year-old girl or one 16-year-old does it usually 3 times a day with her boyfriend. So, after a month of that, this little whatever has had more sex than me in my life, and I'm 48. One more reason. Thanks for nada, bitch. Bye. Now, we could ask the obvious here. What is this man doing on forums where there are 16-year-olds talking about sex? Okay, aside from that, speaking to his whatever you want to attribute to that, fine. But what I like looking at this is that this is where we get the real first instance of where he's actually transposing this hypocrisy to just women in general, right? Just one more reason. See, these women can get women are having all this sex, but they're not having sex with me, so I must go shoot them. And this was just one last part of speaking to Obama. Even in this, I don't know what they edited out there, even in this fucked up Obama economy, whatever, I don't know. Speaking more of women, Michael never had an attractive girlfriend, Debbie, Barb, Kim. Then I lost track. Not to say I had any, except Pam, who was about, and he rates him 7.25. Finally speaking on his religion. Maybe soon I will see God in Jesus. At least that is what I was told. Eternal life does not depend on works. If it did, we will all be in hell. Christ paid for every sin, so how can I or you be judged by God for a sin when the penalty is already paid? People judge, but that does not matter. I was reading the Bible and the integrity of God beginning yesterday, because soon I will see them. So, there's much more you can read into there. There's 7 pages here. It's easy to read, not very deep stuff going on there, but still reflective of much of a existential philosophy. Clearly this woman has, and again, unless she has something, we can just say, well, she's clearly a liar. Unless she has something else she wants to provide. I mean, if I had this fella sitting here with me, I mean, he wants someone to tell him what's wrong. It's like, well, he had a lot going for him too. I mean, he had a lot of money and a good career. I mean, like, dude, you're stuck in this existential crisis, man. Do a little soul searching, do a little reading, get yourself the fuck out of it. Fuck. Well, anyways, I'll leave it at that for now. So, peace out, my brothers, sisters, and everyone in between.